All right, we'll talk to you again sometime soon.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chairman.
All right, straight ahead on this Wednesday, a disturbing new report revealing that tens of thousands of dead people registered to vote right here in the state we're sitting in, North Carolina. The man who discovered that is going to join us next.
As the Department of Justice cracks down on voter ID laws around the country, there's frightening new research about the voter rolls right here where we are in North Carolina. The Voter Integrity Project, NC, discovered more than 30,000 dead people are registered in this state alone to vote. I'm joined now by the founder of the Voter Integrity Project, NC, Jay DeLancy. Good to see you, Jay.
Gretchen, thanks for having me.
Okay, why does a guy who's in the Air Force care about who's voting?
Well, when we were looking at all of our people at our shop, just looking around at the TV in 2000 and watching that election and we just realized how critical it is that there's integrity in the election system. And so I made a decision back then to do this when I got out, and I retired last year.
Are you surprised at what you found? Because let's look at some of the numbers. This is your Hall of Shame.
Okay.
Counties with the most dead people on the voter rolls. So we have Cherokee, the number of voters, 310 dead people. Sampson, the number of dead voters, 560. Now, how many of those are actually then going to vote as another person?
Well, I would hope part of that, when you look at those numbers, is misleading. The Hall of Shame, the problem was the ratio of the number of dead voters per registered voters. So you had big counties and small counties. So it's a matter of list maintenance. And your question, how many are actually registered? How many are going to vote?
How many do we know?
Well, we are doing the research right now, and it takes a little longer to find out how many of them voted. We were surprised to find that some did, and it was more than a handful, but we're not ready to actually come out with an exact number because we're looking at them very carefully.
So when you hear certain states that want to have a voter ID law to hopefully root out dead people from voting, what do you say?
Well, it's common sense. You know, you think about, would you really want to get on an airplane where they don't check your ID? And so we're thinking, it's an election, why not? And it would prevent identity theft at the polls if you just had an ID check.
So states right now where voter ID law is being challenged, Texas, South Carolina, Virginia, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. But you were reminding me that in Indiana and Georgia, it's passed.
It passed. The Supreme Court affirmed it 6-3. Even Justice Brennan, of all people, he's from Chicago, by the way, he wrote the majority opinion because all these studies they cite about how all these people would be disenfranchised. In the studies, what they say one thing, but in reality, in the courtroom, they never could provide witnesses that could survive a cross-examination and prove that they could not get this free ID card.
Okay, very interesting. There is a statement from the North Carolina Board of Elections, and they say, we know it's our responsibility and we take it seriously. The state and county board of elections has a responsibility to remove any individuals who are no longer eligible to vote, etc. We'll see where that goes. Great idea for this project, Jay. Good to see you.
I thank my volunteers. It's been a real blessing.
All right. Coming up on Fox and Friends, turns out sometimes it pays